Okay. So this is our St. Lucia wellness trip. It will be from December 8th through 13th, 2026. This will be our fourth year going back to St. Lucia, and it is absolutely one of our favorite trips every single year. So, a little bit about the trip. It is one of our wellness retreats, but that doesn't mean that it's all about yoga or all about, relaxing on a beach. We have some exploring hikes. We have visiting waterfalls. There's a cooking class. It's a really good mix of culture, nature, as well as a daily yoga class, and some of our wellness workshops focused on intention setting and goal setting. You will arrive and depart to UVF Airport, which is the closer and larger airport on the island of St. Lucia. The trip overview. So the trip starts on December 8th, where you'll arrive to St. Lucia and you'll have a private transfer from the airport to our hotel. We are staying at a property called Tete Rouge, which I'll spend a little bit more time describing later, but it's really beautiful. And then the next day, you have a spa where everybody gets an included massage as part of the trip to help you relax, as well as we spend our lunchtime period doing a cooking class at a local restaurant, which is always really fun to learn a little bit about the Afro-Caribbean influenced cuisine in St. Lucia. There's a lot of French influences, but there's also a lot of Afro and Caribbean influences. So it's really delicious and a good way to learn a little bit more about St. Lucian culture. Then the following day, we are doing our nature walk up through Tet Paul Nature Reserve, as well as going to the Sulphur Springs mud baths. This is actually a drive-in volcano, so it's one of the only volcanoes in the world you can drive on. And there are these sulfur mud baths that are heated through the lava under the ground of the volcano that causes warm mud to bubble up. And the mud is really good for your skin. It has a lot of sort of antibacterial, anti-inflammatory properties. So it's really fun to do a mud bath and then you rinse off. And then we end that afternoon seeing one of the really beautiful waterfalls. The 11th is our day where we go see another set of waterfalls. We have a local lunch, and then we have a little bit of time on one of the beaches. And then on the 12th, we have a free day. All morning, you're free to do whatever you would like. And in the later afternoon, we head out on a catamaran cruise. You can swim, snorkel, we'll drop anchor a few times, so you can get in the water or you can just hang out and enjoy all the incredible views. And when we get back from that, we have our farewell dinner. And then finally, on the 13th is when you have all of your departures back to UVF, the main airport. It's about 45 minutes from the airport to the hotel. So, in terms of the highlights, everybody has an ocean view room, private single occupancy at Tete Rouge. We actually privatized the hotel, so there are only six ocean view suites at the property, and we take all of them. So there are six spots available on the trip, and you're guaranteed like one of the most beautiful views that you could possibly have as part of just the hotel that you get to stay in. We also have that cooking class. We get to explore the Tet Paul Nature Trail, the Pitons. This is one of the really beautiful waterfalls that we do a little walk to. And then the Sunset Catamaran Cruise is always a major highlight. Plus, every day you'll have an optional yoga class. The yoga is always very much based on the level that people are in. So if you are a total beginner, that's fine. If you don't even want to do yoga, that's also fine. If you're someone who does yoga every day, amazing. Christine is a certified yoga teacher and can sort of move the level down or up depending on people's interests and comfort. And like we said, the yoga is optional. So if you just want to sit in the pool and not do yoga, totally fine. And then we'll have about three different wellness workshops throughout the itinerary. We have an intention setting workshop, one more about reflection, and then a third workshop that's about sort of taking what you've learned, what you have experienced from this trip, and how to integrate some of that back into your day-to-day life when you leave what has been hopefully a very restful and restorative week. So those again are very much optional, but most people enjoy working on them. You journal, and you can share sort of whatever you're comfortable with the group. Where we stay, these are all images of Tete Rouge. So there's this incredible pool, and each room has a nice veranda with hammocks and chairs out overlooking the ocean. We do our yoga every day on the sun deck by the pool, and then each room is really built to be like indoor outdoor living. So you have really nice breeze coming off the ocean every day, and just these very beautiful views. So I think ultimately the hotel ends up being probably the standout feature of this trip, and the fact that it's just us. They have their own farm where they grow all of their food, so everything is super fresh. The food is delicious, and we can cater to vegan, vegetarian, whatever dietary restrictions you might have. In terms of pricing and inclusions, the trip is 5,995 USD. That includes the single occupancy room at your hotel for the 5 nights, the airport transfers, the cooking class, the um, guided activities along the walking trails, the waterfalls, mud baths, etc. The COVID test is a hangover from previous trips. We don't need those anymore, but we also include obviously the sessions and the yoga. And we do include the yoga mats and blocks and straps. So you don't need to bring those from home. We provide them at the property. What is not included in that price is your international airfare. So you'll have to book that yourself. We can give recommendations, but it's not included. Any personal spending, like on alcohol, souvenirs, or if you wanted to do any extra spa um, experiences or things like that. The weather this time of year is really nice. It's going to be in the 70s and 80s. It is very humid and it's in the tropics, so there's always a chance of rain. But typically, if it does rain, it's like a brief shower in the afternoon and it's sunny again at night. This is a picture of the group on their catamaran last year. The pace of the trip is pretty moderate. The more active days are your two hikes to the waterfalls, where you're going to be walking. One is about 3 miles round trip, and the other one is about 1.5 miles round trip. But we take it at a very moderate pace. You can sort of go at whatever speed you're comfortable with. And if you're ever uncomfortable doing one of those walks or hikes, you can opt out of them and hang out at the resort instead. There are no visas for US and Canadian citizens, so you just show up with your passport. So I will pause there and turn off this and take any questions.
Well, it all sounds wonderful to me, Catherine. I do have one question. Like, what recommendations would you make for the airfare, or would you email us some recommendations? Or
Yeah, so want to
okay,
remind me where your home
I am in
airport is?
Richmond, Virginia,
Richmond. Okay.
and I've done two women travel
Yes.
abroad trips before.
Um, I can do some research for you and send it as a follow-up, but generally, if you're coming from the East Coast of the US, what works well is to fly either through Atlanta or Miami and connect down to St. Lucia. So it is a pretty small airport, so there's not a ton of like direct international flights from the US, but there are options definitely through Atlanta, through Miami. I believe there's one a day from New York, which is probably further away for you. But I would say Atlanta is probably your best bet. And I think it's a Delta flight that takes you through Atlanta down to UVF. If you're flying via Miami, it's American.
Okay. Well, and if like I I would like to go, and would you recommend like making the airline reservations like immediately, or
I would probably, for all of our trips, I usually say wait until about 6 months before the trip to book. So probably June, July is a good time frame. Typically, if you book too far in advance, sometimes the airlines actually penalize you because they know that you have a trip planned and they're like, oh, well, she's an early bird and wants to lock in whatever flight she has, and then they make it more expensive. So the flights prices tend to dip about 6 months, maybe 5, 6 months before the travel. And if you wait too long, obviously like 2 or 3 months, it gets really expensive again. So I would say you can certainly book a spot on the trip. There are 2 spots left. And then book your airfare over the summer. Generally, airfare from the US to St. Lucia is somewhere between like 600 and $1,000 round trip.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Can you remember if there is a direct flight from DFW to St. Lucia?
that is a very good question. I want to say yes, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. I can do a little
Okay,
research for you.
okay, okay,
I definitely know you could fly DFW Miami, Miami there, but there might
okay,
be a direct flight from DFW as well.
okay.
Any other questions?
What is the mosquito situation?
Yeah, so there are mosquitoes. It's the tropics, but there are not mosquitoes that have any more risk than in the US to, mosquito-borne diseases. There's not been many cases of Zika or anything like that. And so it is generally something that we recommend having bug spray with you. The rooms have fans and you can close all the windows at night and they come around and sort of do a touch up of your rooms every day to make sure that there aren't bugs or things in there. So, in general, the time that we're going, because it's a little bit colder, if you can believe that 80s is actually colder for St. Lucia, it's actually less buggy that time of year than it is over the summer. Same thing as like in the US. So we've never had any travelers complain about the bugs in St. Lucia. We definitely recommend bringing like either the wipes or the bug spray with you, but it's not something that you really need to worry about, and there aren't any diseases that you have to be concerned with.
I'm just a bug magnet. They like to
Yeah.
bite me.
Christine, I don't know if you've been there a few times now, so I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember there being bad mosquitoes, but I've
So
never had any reports of it.
no, it wasn't bad at all. I'm usually pretty good. I don't usually get attacked, but even people on the trip were fine. Now, when we did walk the volcano and everything, we all put the bug spray on, of course, but it
Yeah.
wasn't bad at all. Not at all.
Yay.
Because yeah, I'm not a bug person. I would tell you.
If
Um,
it
yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
if it bites me.
Got it. Um, I'm that way also, so I understand. Wanda, I know you asked about extending your stay. So yes, you're welcome to come in a day early or stay a day or two after. There are additional charges, but we can always arrange that with the hotel. They currently have, availability to accommodate folks for an extra pre-day or post-day. I know some people want to stay. There is scuba diving, and there is, other hiking and things like that that can be done in St. Lucia. So if you're someone who wants to explore the island more than just the retreat, when you book, you can let us know if you want an extra day pre or post, and we can help extend that same hotel room so that you don't have to, change hotels or anything like that.
Do you have an idea of how much that would be?
Yeah, so that typically I think will be about $325 a night for the extra nights. And then we do price in it's typically around $60 for a private airport transfer. If you are coming in a day early, that's included. We don't charge extra, but if you stay extra days post trip, because we we're not able to share the cost of that with other people sharing your transfers, there would be another private airport transfer cost, but that's about $60 and it should be around 325 for the pre-nights. And that includes your breakfast every day as well.
And the breakfast is amazing.
Yeah, the breakfasts and all the food, that's
All
always
the food's amazing.
amazing. So,
Yeah.
any other questions?
Do you have any recommendations if we wanted to do maybe tours, other island tours?
Yeah. So the thing that came most highly recommended, a few women did this last yeah, last year now. There is something called Hotel Chocolat, and it's basically it's a chocolate farm in the mountains of St. Lucia, and it's probably 30 minutes away from our hotel, but you can go learn about chocolate farming, make your own chocolate bar, taste the different cacao beans at the different stages of roasting. So that's something on the last day before our catamaran cruise. That is a good option that we could help arrange through the hotel. They have a concierge that's amazing. So if you say, hey, can you help me get a taxi to the hotel chocolate experience, they'll help book all of that for you. And that's a good activity to do on that last sort of free morning.
Okay.
I have a question
Yeah,
on the hikes. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm using my phone
you're
for the
fine.
for the noise. Um, and I know you said that you can, you go at various paces, but is there like a minimum or whatever that you should be able to do? Or, I mean, I don't know how much or
I
how
would
hard that is.
So both of the hikes are, well, the longer hike that's about 3 miles is pretty flat. There are a few areas with stairs and sort of boardwalks as you go about, but Christine, I don't think anyone's ever not finished it, and it's a
Mm.
loop, right? So if you got halfway through and you wanted to turn around, or a quarter of the way and you wanted to turn around, our drivers are there all day. So you could like go part way and then be like, actually, nope, this is beyond me. I'm gonna go hang out with the driver in the car in the AC. Like that's not a big deal. And then the other hike is much shorter. It's steeper because we're going down to a waterfall and then back up. But it's pretty short and you can go at your own pace. You'll have Christine as well as Kay, another one of our wellness hosts, both with you on the trip. And so they really help you pace it out, right? One group might go a little faster, and one of them will be with them, and one group might go a little slower, and the other one will be with them. So we have two trip hosts for that reason, so that if people are going at different paces, you're not, being left behind.
Okay,
Yeah, and you'll never be left alone.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, Catherine, is that six participants and two hosts, you
Hosts,
said?
exactly. Yep. So we have 6 total traveler spots available. There are 4 women booked on the trip so far. So we have 2 spots available. And we will run St. Lucia again in 2027. It's one of those destinations we go to every year. So if it doesn't work for you in 2026, our 27 calendar is about to be released. But yes, there are 2 spots left available for this December.
Well, I'm booked. I'm one of your six
Yes, I
already.
know. Yeah. You and Denise are already booked on the trip, so
Yes.
you'll get to know
I'm
each other
I'm
well.
there. I'm there.
Uh, awesome. Any other questions?
Um,
I
I'm
just have,
thinking.
you're good.
Sorry.
Wanda,
So
do you have a question?
I did.
Yeah.
In terms of the resort, is there any like nightlife action or
There
is it
is
pretty quiet?
It's pretty quiet.
Okay.
They do have alcohol on site, so if you want to buy, a cocktail, etc., that's totally fine. The women, there's like a swim up pool bar and everything. So, it is totally you can make your own nightlife. But no, generally the resort, it's actually up in the mountains, like on the hills, of St. Lucia, so it's pretty isolated in terms of its location. But if you, yeah, want to have a drink, you can do that at the hotel. That's absolutely something that can be accommodated. And then during the day, we do go into the town of Soufier on one of the day trips where you'll have the chance to see a little bit more of like what is life like in a town of St. Lucia. It's where we have lunch one day. There's a market. You'll have a little bit of time to wander around the town as well.
Thanks.
Yeah. Christine, I don't know if there's anything you want to add just about the yoga and wellness aspects of the retreat.
Sure. Well, like Catherine said, we do take the tone of the group and all adjust the yoga classes to everyone's comfort level. And again, it's no one's going to judge you if you don't want to do it one day or if you never want to do it. It's perfectly fine. And as far as the wellness journaling and all of that, again, it's if you want to participate or don't want to participate. But I find that even the quietest and most private people end up at some point opening up and sharing, and we all become one. And it's one of my favorite things about these trips, that we are learning about people's lives from, their whole entire lives, different cultures, different places where you live, and different things that you've experienced through life. And that's part of the whole wellness thing, is just really resting and tuning into yourself, talking to other women, bonding, and truly relaxing. Like I said to Catherine before, a lot of the regular WTA trips are vacations, and you're go 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 go. So we do a lot of activity on the wellness trips, but you're also very rested, if that makes sense. You're going to go home rested, peaceful, zen, until you get to the Miami airport. But you're going to feel so relaxed and so in tune with yourself. I can't even describe it. It's such a wonderful feeling. And St. Lucia is one of my favorites. I mean, it's an amazing spot.
Yeah, I think definitely we try to keep it, one activity a day, plenty of
Yeah.
free time, a lot of time to sit and hang in the pool,
Mhm.
and a lot of, time as well just to be introspective. So if you want to engage with it, great. If not, and you just want to take a nap, like Christine said,
Exactly.
no one's gonna judge you.
Right.
Plenty of women wake up with intentions to do something in a day, and then they're like, actually, I'm just gonna sleep. And
Mhm.
that's also totally fine. So,
So
Mhm.
if we came
yeah,
in like one day before,
yep.
would there be would we have access to explore like other towns in the
Yeah,
on the
that's
island?
definitely something we could help with the hotel to organize. So if you
Okay.
wanted to come in a night early, I think half the women last year came in a night early. Certainly that first morning, right? The good news about St. Lucia is like the time zone is not, you're not going to suffer a lot of jet lag. And so if you wanted that day to either go into one of the towns and shop, there's basically a fleet of cars and drivers that the hotel works with, and they can help
Okay.
arrange a driver to take you around to any of the towns. And so typically what we've done is like on the 90-day pre-trip call, we'll get a feel for what people's flights are and what their interests are. And then if there's one or two people who want to go into a town and shop or want to do the chocolate experience, on a pre-day, we're happy to make those arrangements for people, and then you can just pay at the hotel.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm just curious where the two women that have already signed up, where do you live?
I'm coming out of DFW area.
Okay. Okay. I
And I'm
wondered.
not far. I'm south. I'm in San Antonio
Oh, okay.
ish.
Oh, a fellow
Well,
Texan.
well, I'm a couple states up. I'm in Kansas, in
Okay.
Kansas City. So,
I know we have another woman coming from one from California, and I think, well, Christine's in Pennsylvania, Kay is in Florida, who's your other trip host, and then there's one woman who just signed up, and I can't tell you off the top of my head where she lives, but
okay.
they tend to be from, all over the US, so it's pretty flexible.
I,
Wanda, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I just like you said, if you don't want to participate, you don't have to, but nothing is canceled, right? Because I want to do all
Yeah,
that's on
exactly.
there.
No, exactly.
Nothing's
Everything in the itinerary will happen, even if it's just you and the host, although that's pretty rare. But the idea is that everything that you see in the itinerary is absolutely happening. If someone wakes up and, says, "Hey, I'm not up for the hike today," totally fine. You just send a message. You've experienced the trips before. You can send a message in the WhatsApp chat and say, "Hey, I'm feeling tired. I'm going to stick back and rest today." And then, you can stick back and rest. But
great.
the rest of the group goes on as planned.
Great. Thank you.
Lynn, I have two nieces and nephews in San Antonio.
oh, yay.
I I visit there frequently.
Yeah. I'm
I
Oh,
love
actually,
I love I love the Riverwalk.
right. I'm actually in Canyon Lake, about 45 minutes out in the hill
Yes, I know
country.
where that is. I know
Yeah.
where that is.
Most people don't, so I just say San Antonio. That's the airport I'll fly out of.
Uh,
Hopefully.
awesome.
Flights are crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to, yeah, stick around and answer any other questions. Otherwise, feel free to have a great rest of your evening. For those who haven't ever booked a trip before, you can do it all on the website, and I'll send a recap of the trip, the recording, and the registration link by email here shortly.
Catherine, can I say
Great.
Yeah,
one more thing?
yeah, absolutely.
So last year I got certified in scuba diving.
Yes.
And I scuba dived for the first time in Costa Rica over Thanksgiving, and it was amazing. And I won't get another opportunity until this trip.
Yep.
So it is my intention to stay a couple extra days and scuba dive. So if
Yes.
anybody else is interested, let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I have you marked down for probably at least two post nights. But you can let me know the final number as we get a bit closer and you get flights and everything.
Yeah, potentially, or I might move to some place
Yeah,
else closer to the
closer
dive
to the
shop, which I
beach.
haven't
Yeah.
figured all that out yet. Because again, I just got certified last year. So
That's totally fine. I know there is um there's at least one dive shop that our hotel, like someone has gone to stay with or work with before. So I'll shoot you an email with the name of that if you want to add that to your research.
that would be helpful. Thanks. Because my last trip, Costa Rica, my one of my best friends, she's a master diver, and she just held my hand the whole time, which was lovely. Now it's I have to figure it out for myself, for my on my own for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can send you the name of that and then you can look into if it makes sense to stay at the main hotel or if you want to go somewhere closer to that dive shop.
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody. Wish
Thank
you a great
you.
rest of your
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.